What's up, VC? I'm not sure if you remember me. My name is Bobby, and I'm here with another vinyl update. It's been a minute, it's been a little while, and I've just been busy. Things have been fine, but I've just been busy. And also haven't been super motivated to make a video. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But thought, well, let's do one today. And you know what? Part of my inspiration was I've been watching, I've been catching up on a few of your videos. I haven't done a whole whack of commenting, but I've commented a bit. And but there's one guy I discovered. His name's Andrew, and he goes by Tales from the Crate. And he put up. He did a series of videos where he counted down his top 100 favorite albums of all time, and that's the type of, like, I love that crap. It's like it's it's so ridiculous, you know, deciding that your number 36 is, you know, 20 numbers higher better than your number 56. But I just love it. I love watching it. I love making those lists. There's others who have kind of jumped on that as well. And at the same time as I watched those videos, I also was challenged by some friends of mine who came across on Instagram my picks for my top 35 albums of 2017, which I'm not going to talk about here, but if you look for the Vinyl Vagabond on Instagram, you could see I posted it there. But some friends of mine who kind of just discovered my love of music said, "Hey, have you ever done a top 100 albums of all time?" And I thought, yeah, and I said, yeah, of course, I've done it many times, but it's been a while. I'm ready to embark on that again. And so I compiled a list, and so I'm planning on doing that in the next few weeks as well. I'll do it the same way that Andrew did. I'll give you more details on that. But that's at least 10 more videos that you're going to get in the next few weeks, if all goes according to plan. So that's kind of exciting. But for today, I figured I wouldn't jump right back into something like that. I figured I'd just kind of post some of my finds over the last year, I guess. I think it's been 6 or 7 months since I've posted something, so I'll just kind of share with you a few of the things that I've bought. I've been buying as much as ever, and I'm going to start with some newer stuff, and then we'll kind of go back to like kind of newer artists, and then I'll go back throughout this video to just showcase some more kind of classic stuff. Got some neat sort of psych and older stuff coming up later too, but we'll get right into it. To start with, I went to a show last Friday at a new place here in town, newer place in town called the Baby G. Never been there before, kind of a smaller place. And I saw 3 local bands perform there, and I thought they were all excellent, and I really enjoyed them, and I picked up all their stuff too. So I'll just show you what I got. The opening band for the night was a band called Beds, and they released this cassette here. The album here is called Whispers. This cassette, it's kind of a neat little yellow cassette. This cassette here, it's here's a kind of a picture of the band as well. It's just kind of like lo-fi indie pop. But the band that I saw that night, first of all, it seemed to be, unless she was having an off night or something, but it seems like this girl here wasn't in the band. It was all men. But it was a slightly more abrasive sound, almost kind of psych, garage psych in a way. Not as sloppy as garage, I guess, a little bit more defined than that. But anyways, I thought it was great. So, but this is a good album too. Check it out. It's on Spotify. The band is called Beds. The album is called Whispers. The second band of the night was a band called Lee Paradise, and Daniel Lee, the lead singer of the band, is also in several other Toronto-based bands. He's in a great band called Hooded Fang, who used to be kind of an indie pop band in the past, but then I saw them a few months ago, and they've just gotten dirtier and more. You could tell, well, they seem to be kind of influenced by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Ching Blizzard and the Tizzard Fizzard, Twisted Sister and the Mr. Like, they seem to be kind of influenced by them a little bit more, and they got a real kind of neat garagey sound. This here is kind of also very lo-fi, a little bit more of a beat and rhythm based than that, but they also put on a really great show. And so the band again is called Lee Paradise. The album is called Winter Palace Kingdom, and the main act for the night was this band here called Grounders. And again, same thing, kind of indie rock. They have a really tight groove that I really enjoyed. Their music is very groove based, kind of a steady sort of sort of psych, I guess. Not super fuzzy or anything like that, but yeah, really, really good. And this album is awesome. But again, the live show, like all of these bands, their live show showcases slightly different sound than what these albums showcase, as good as these albums are. And this is a limited edition on press to what they describe as fried egg colored vinyl. So there you go. That looks like a fried egg right there. Want to scramble that up. Want to slap some cheese in there and make an omelet. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but that's some good stuff there. One more kind of local. Newer sort of local act. I'm going to see this guy on Friday. I've mentioned him before on my channel. It's a guy named Andre Etier. He used to be in sort of a garage band called the Deadly Snakes. His solo stuff is much more acoustic based. This is his album Under Grape Leaves, and my goodness, just a great voice. That's what Andre Etier looks like there. Local artist. You hear smacks of Lou Reed in his music. This album is a little less groove based and a little more kind of mellow and acoustic, but still great. His voice is outstanding, and he's a great lyricist too. So I'm going to see him again at the Baby G this Friday night, and I think it's going to be a great show. So and this was my number 2 album of the year. Again, Vinyl Vagabond on Instagram, you'll see what my favorite albums of the year were. Another artist that I went to see earlier this year was Japanese Breakfast. This is her album Soft Sounds from Another Planet, and initially it was to be a concept album, but she changed her mind partway through and made it a much more personal album. I tell you, this girl's voice, her vocals melt my heart. And this, I was having a stressful week, and this show was exactly what I needed to hear. And so it was an amazing show. It was really nice to meet her. As you can see, she signed my record, and yeah, really good stuff. This was also, I think this was in my top 5 for the year, for 2018. Certainly my top 10, but again, one of my favorite albums of the year. Just beautiful. Indie pop. Mellow indie pop. Soft Sounds from Another Planet. Japanese Breakfast. And opening for her at that show was this band called Spirit of the Beehive. This album is called Pleasures Suck. And the album's okay. The live show was awesome, though. The live show was outstanding. And they, again, kind of a groove-based psych band. I'm using that expression a lot, but that's what accurately describes all of these artists. And, that was really good. So that's some newer music for those who are so inclined to look for something like that. Some other albums that I got over the last few months that I was really excited about. Some great progressive molten hot magma. This is the album Kontar Coach. Just some bizarre progressive rock. I've shown Magma before in the past. This here, I ponied up a little bit for this one because it is a white label promo copy, as you can see. These guys are awesome, and I highly recommend all of their music, especially their albums from the early 70s. Yeah, there's nothing else like it. A little bit frightening, but really, really ambitious and wonderful. So that is Magma there. I also grabbed this awesome record going the other way. This is so not progressive. This is, you know, garage rock, punk rock, kind of similar Iggy and the Stooges. In fact, the band Radio Birdman, they got their name from a misheard lyric in an Iggy and the Stooges song. But I love that cover too. That's, you know, there's something about these black and white covers that that do it for me. And this cover's great. I mean, whoever owned it before me spilled coffee on it or something, or I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like my punk rock albums to have like dirty covers for some reason. But the record itself is in really good shape. It is on the Sire label, as you can see. Again, talking about Andrew from Tales from the Crate when he was doing his top 100 albums of all time. This was one of them. And I was excited to see that on his list. It's not going to quite make my list, but hey, if it was 150 albums of all time, maybe it would be there. It's an amazing, amazing, just kind of dirty rock album, punk rock album. Again, in the vein of Iggy and the Stooges. You like that kind of thing, you'd like that. You'd like this. Or Teenage Head, stuff like that. Radio Birdman. Here's another record I was really excited to find. It's Husker Du's Land Speed record. And this is, I guess, their first album, 1981. This is not, you know, Husker Du kind of ventured into other territory as they went along, became a little bit more melodic, a little, you know, not pop, but certainly, you know, had hooks and kind of catchy, a catchy vibe to them. Yeah, this is just abrasive, loud, and angry punk rock music. You know, this is noisy and aggressive and just awesome. And you don't come across this very often. This is an original pressing. It's yeah, it's amazing. And I was really happy to find this, and it's in really good shape too. And in fact, like, there's a million songs on here. But you'll notice well, it might be kind of hard to see, but it's not even really divided up into songs on here. You just gotta put it on. Don't try and pick a song. They're only like if you don't like it, if you don't like one of the songs, well, it's only like 30 seconds long anyways. The next one will start pretty soon. So it's a pretty awesome album. Husker Du's Land Speed record. Land Speed record. The Undertones debut album. One of John Peel's favorites. In fact, he often said that Teenage Kicks was his favorite song of all time. And this has that on it. This isn't an original pressing. It's an early one, but it's a later one because this one incorporates some of the hits that weren't on the original album. Songs like Get Over You and True Confessions. I don't think any of those were on the original album. Teenage Kicks. Anyways, whatever. But like, I think some of, like, those are the three most popular songs by the Undertones, and I'm pretty sure two of those three, if not all three, were not on the original album. So it's cool to kind of get this. I really like this album. Some psych rock here with Circus Maximus. This is not an original pressing, but it's still an early pressing, and it still sounds really good. So that leads me to believe it's an American pressing, 1967. I think this is maybe one from the early 70s. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me. It sounds really good. It's on the Vanguard label. And yeah, what can I say? Just some classic psych rock, a little bit jazzy in parts, a little bit fuzzy in parts. The last song, Wind, 8 minutes and 7 seconds, that there is quite jazzy. In fact, it reminds me of some of the you know, when the Guess Who kind of, in the early kind of Guess Who albums, when Burton was, I don't know, trying to be Jim Morrison or something. This guy is not trying to be Jim Morrison, but it's kind of got that same sort of vibe to it. But that's an amazing psych rock album. Circus Maximus. This is one I was pretty happy to find. Chad and Jeremy, venturing into the psych rock of Cabbages and Kings. Obviously, if you watch, this has been mentioned on the VC before, not a difficult album to find, but one that if you're not in the know, you might just pass by it because you see it's Chad and Jeremy and they do some, it's really good. Like I love their, like a summer song and some of their pop kind of folk mellow stuff. I like that too, but this is them going psych, and it's a great album. Another kind of psych folk album that I picked up recently, the Apple Pie Motherhood Band. This also is an original pressing, American pressing on Atlantic. Man, you gotta love. I really like that label, that Atlantic label. It's great. And Apple Pie Motherhood Band. This gets fuzzy as it goes along, but it's still primarily kind of folky psych stuff. Awesome album. Time to get a little funky. I'm not saying much about these, am I? Whatever. I'm trying to be as articulate as I can, but it ain't coming out. Fuzzy, psyche, others have talked about this stuff anyways. Here's a good one. Mongo Santa Maria, Mongo 70. This album is awesome. This was owned by Sam before me, so I think that was owned by Samuel L. Jackson, I believe. Owned this album before me. I paid $32,000 for this. I paid too much? But this is just some great funk. This is some funky stuff. This is some funky dung, yo. And it's, wow, I love it. And it's on the wonderful Red Atlantic label, which always sounds good. Boy, you shouldn't be doing things like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter if I drop this because it's on the Red Atlantic label. And the Red Atlantic label takes a licking and keeps on ticking. It always sounds amazing. And this thing is just awesome. Mongo Santa Maria, he wrote Afro Blue, which was made popular by John Coltrane. And he also is known for his version of Herbie Hancock's Watermelon Man. But yeah, just some great stuff there. I discovered a new band this year. They're not new, they've been around for a long time. But this band here, IF, progressive jazz fusion, jazz rock. Some of their songs are a little more straightforward than others, but when they really when they just kind of jam out, those songs are awesome. And I kind of went on a bit of a spree where I bought a few of their albums. This is their third album called If 3, and it's a gatefold showcasing a picture of the band live. If 3. This one's my favorite of the ones I picked up. If 4, with the glossy cover there. And again, featuring picture of the band. This thing is the most progressive of the 3 that I bought, but it's also amazing. And then this album here, it's called Double Diamond. What a great cover. If Double Diamond. I think this is also known as If 6 in depending what country you're from. Like this is a Canadian pressing, and they called this Double Diamond in Canada, but in other parts of the world it was known as If 6. It also was great album. So a couple more things that I picked up this year that I'm very excited about. I got the Smiths Meat is Murder, which of course I already owned this album, but this is an original UK pressing that I found in one of the homes that I was cleaning out. And again, it would have been it would have been thrown in the garbage if it wasn't for me saving this thing. And I cleaned it up, and oh man, these UK pressing of these albums, anyways, they sound better. And I'm going to keep my Canadian pressing because in Canada it had How Soon Is Now added to side 2, but man, they're like night and day. Playing this next to the Canadian pressing, this sounds miles above that other one. So, you know, not my favorite Smiths album, but you know what? They've never released a bad album. So, there you go. The Smiths. Meat is Moida. And quite possibly my favorite pickup of the year. I think this is probably my... I overpaid for it, but I don't really care because it's nice to have it in my collection. An original Canadian pressing of the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, Volume 3, A Child's Guide to Good and Evil. One of the greatest albums of all time. One of the greatest psych rock albums of all time. It's on the Tricolor Reprise label. And I am just pumped to have this album. I love this album. I love it so much. You could say I love it. I loof it. It's just fantastic. And boy, am I ever happy to have this here. And I will be talking about this album again in the near future when I start counting down my top 100 favorite albums of all time. And I'm waiting for one album to come in the mail. It's one that I've had on CD for a while. It's not super easy to come by, so I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. It's probably in the top 60, top 50 somewhere. I can't remember. So I can still get started before it gets here, but I'm anticipating it'll get here within the next week or so. Other than that, every single album in my top 100 I own on vinyl. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to embarking on that countdown. I hope that you'll enjoy that ride with me. But hey, in the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm back for now. Freak out! That's actually Frank Zappa, but I sang Chic. I wonder how Zappa would feel about that. Probably not too happy. But, you know, what can I say? That's the way it goes sometimes. Bobby here. Nice to see you guys. Nice to talk to you guys. I'm still enjoying your videos. Sorry I haven't participated as much. Feel free to comment and do all those things. And if you enjoyed watching this, great. And if you didn't, hey, that's kind of awesome too, because I don't particularly enjoy watching myself either. West Coast Pop Art Instrumental Band. I'm rambling now. Talk to you later. Ciao.